bring in Richard Ballantyne. Richard is the Chief Executive over at British Ports Association, and he joins us now from London. Richard, good to have you on the show. Your association oversees nearly 90% of all UK port traffic, and as it stands, there are thousands of unhappy, disgruntled truck drivers that have become very impatient at UK ports. How are you dealing with what's been going on since this morning's reopening?
Yes, good afternoon. Well, it's operationally, it's quite a challenge, as you can imagine, to get all these queues of people through our borders, but it is happening slowly but surely. And in the UK, the Navy and the military are involved in facilitating a number of these checks. So hopefully in the next couple of days, we will see those queues start to reduce and people to get home for Christmas.
Okay, you say slowly yet surely, but I mean, take a look at the bigger picture. I mean, today it's about this sort of new variant of the coronavirus. Tomorrow, it could be something completely else. I mean, there still isn't a trade agreement between the UK and the EU. What's to say that, this closure doesn't happen for another reason? I mean, how do you feel in terms of your preparedness and your outlook?
I think although there'll be similarities with the situation with cross-border controls that come in following the end of the UK's transitional period out of the European Union, I think this is slightly different in that this is an actual prevention of people travelling for understandable reasons, I have to say. And I appreciate that member state governments across Europe will have reservations and they'll want to control the spread of this new strain of the coronavirus variant. However, once we leave the European Union, I think the focus will be very much on actual cargo controls. And that will be checks and documentary checks and physical checks on all the goods we're transporting. But it's not about closing borders as the situation we've seen recently. Okay.
You are pretty confident that things will return to normal fairly soon. But at one point, there was serious concern that a whole range of things from, food supply chains breaking down, drivers not getting home for, the year-end holidays. This was all up in the air. I mean, how do you feel right now?
Well, fairly positive. We want to wait and see how the next 48 hours pan out, of course. But do remember that although it's very important, some of these trade routes to the European Union, we have lots of other ports that facilitate unaccompanied freight. And those lines have stayed open. So we have still links and we are supplied. And also one of the ironies of the ending of the Brexit transition is how freight forwarders, cargo owners, suppliers and others have been very busy in bringing in goods to the UK. So we have huge amounts stockpile, which is effectively being done to avoid any problems or congestion in the new year. The main issues we were looking at is actually sort of perishables and things like salads and other products coming in from Europe, but also things like exports of fish and other cargoes that don't really last long if they're held up in queues at ports and borders.
All right, Richard Ballantyne, thank you very much for joining us here on TRT World. I do appreciate it.